definitely worth it, man. I mean, because I've been doing a lot of the meditation, and I've also been reading a lot about Taoism as well. And I want to follow it, man. I want to I want to be a Taoist, man. It's because
Dude, you know
I've
Taoism
really
is like we're literally like hippies, you know.
yeah, man. Well, I mean, I realised I'm actually already living half of it anyway, like by accident.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
And
Like
it's like
Taoism is just a word, isn't it?
it just clicks with me, man. So that's like what I enjoy this work. So I hope you can instruct me and teach me more about it, because it seems to be like any other sort of religion. There's various different interpretations and extremes of it. You know,
Yeah.
yeah,
The main thing is just like literally, like I was saying to you last time, is go with the flow. The route of
yeah,
least resistance. That's Taoism.
yeah,
Like in a really like simple way. But
yeah.
but also when we start trying to explain Tao, you no longer can
Mhm.
explain Tao. Just go
Well,
with
it's
it.
just like the feeling, right?
Yeah, yeah, literally, just like yeah, just go with it. You know, it's about the present moment. A lot of it is
Yeah,
naturalistic. You know, you're kind of like looking at nature often, just to remind you that man, everything is okay.
yeah.
Whereas as human beings, we have the faculty just to like overthink bloody everything.
I know, man.
So
I know.
if we spend time in nature, just shut up and watch nature. Nature is just like it shows you that everything is fine. There's
Yeah,
nothing,
yeah,
no need to overthink anything.
yeah, yeah,
And you know, it's a bit of a paradox, isn't it? When you're trying to remind yourself, oh, stop overthinking. You can't. Well, it's a paradox. So what we do is we practice meditation. So meditation, like, as you've been discovering, like, sort of, I've taught you last time a little technique to allow you to start becoming more conscious
yeah,
of the meaning of focusing. Yes,
yeah,
we've given you like in a conscious attention to hold your breath rather than
yeah,
an unconscious intention to hold breath. You have a conscious
yeah,
intention to hold your breath, and like with that, you've been able just to watch what's happening while you've been holding your breath. So this
yeah.
has been has it been a month now, Aldo, since you've been practicing that?
So about
2 weeks
2 weeks.
or 2 weeks? Right. So yeah, with this practice that you've been doing so far, tell me what have you noticed?
Well, it's actually kind of funny. It's probably going to make you laugh, man. Because you said like I like to use the sea. Like I'm very lucky to have the sea on my doorstep, and I was going down to the beach anyway early every morning. So, but what I found very difficult, because the seawater is so buoyant, it's so it's very difficult to hold yourself underwater
Yeah.
without like. But basically, you end up floating on the top face down, and people think that you've drowned, basically.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So that's what happened the first day. Like a friend said, "What are you all right?" Like because it looked like I drowned in the water, and I'm like, "Yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm just doing this breathing exercise." Because people are used to seeing me running. I go jogging every day, and I said, "I'm just trying to build up my lung capacity," and they're like, oh, "Okay, all right." It's just him doing his fitness madness stuff again.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's actually difficult to stay under and hold your breath. So that was like the first couple of times I was struggling with that. Then the second time I went down there, the sea was full of jellyfish. So couldn't do it. So I had to sit on the beach, and I was doing the holding the breath thing. Um, and then the jellyfish were here for a couple of days. And then the next time I went down there were these COVID restrictions. So I
Oh,
wasn't even
shums.
allowed, you know. So it's been like three quite funny. I was like, Kai's gonna laugh when I tell him that
Yeah.
A,
Did
the
you?
lifeguard dead, B, there were jellyfish, and C, I wasn't allowed on because it was COVID the next day. But now it's all calmed down a bit.
Yeah.
But I have been doing it at home, and I've been doing it in nature as well.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
and
please
it
tell
does
me
help.
what have you noticed while you've been practicing this? Was the main another thing about this was also like I was saying to you, just to give you an opportunity or start learning to study yourself. And when
Yeah,
we say study ourselves, we mean the temple, the body,
yeah,
allowing the perspective from which you are perceiving from. This is the character,
hmm
Aldo, to just to
hmm
watch. what it is its vehicle is doing while Aldo is consciously holding the breath. What have you noticed about the being? What have you watched? What have you seen?
I've noticed that it's mainly my left leg that goes crazy on thrashing around.
Yep.
And so my heart goes crazy. And it's not a comfortable feeling, but it's usually, more often than not, it's always my left leg. And it's kind of interesting because I've got trouble like with my hips. I'm always stretching myself out. I'm always holding these yoga poses to stretch it out. Like a lot of foam rollering. I've got like a self massage tool that looks like a big sort of question mark.
Yeah.
And I like lie on my side. I mean, I can show it to you if you want.
Yeah, if you want, yeah.
Hang on. So yeah, I got this thing, right?
Yep.
If you can see. So I kind of like lie on my side, and this thing I kind of put it in my hip, in my psoas, and everything else, gluteus maximus, and just like with Tiger Balm, because I had Tiger Balm anyway before I knew.
Awesome, yeah, Tiger Balm is the bomb, man.
But I've got a white one and a red one. And I just kind of do that, and it does help, but the tension comes back all the time, and sometimes it's painful, man. Sometimes I even have to, when I'm at work, I go in the back and I just quickly stretch it out. But it seems to be like my pelvis, my hips, not my lower back, but that's where it is.
Yeah.
And when I'm holding my breath, it's just my left leg like shoots out at an angle and kind of kicks and thrashes that way. It's not really my right side. It's weird.
Yeah. So let me explain to you. So right, the human form, physiologically, I'm just going to give you the basics in it. We have a skeletal structure. This skeletal structure here, it's free. It's not fixed. You know, it has different like axes that it can move. You know, like for example, the spine, it could torsion like this. Yes. Yeah. Likewise, we have ribs going around the spine, and the ribs can expand and detract. Yeah. Yes. Likewise, we have these long, like in quotes, limbs, like you know the arm and the arm bones and the leg bones. They also like they're like just dangly. Yeah, that's the skeletal structure. Below this skeletal structure now we have the internal organs. Yes. Yeah. The internal organs now they're just kind of like they group together below the diaphragm. Yes, and also you got the lungs and the heart wall, whatnot. Everything is actually not physically attached to each other. Yeah. Everything is just placed together. Does it make sense? Nothing's adhered together, and in between this adhesion or this non-adhesion is what we call fascia. Fascia is like this kind of like envelope that wraps everything together, but all the organs they're all separate from each other. Everything is kind of like separated but together. Does it make sense? Right. But anyway, when you feel your leg want to move, what it is the vertebrae in this area here is constricted. It is lacking a movement. And this lacking movement, what it is, it's a combination of this. It's a combination of organ that is either overused or underused, and also a combination of blood flow that is either too low or too less. Another thing is this. It's also to do with nerve and also our conscious connection to whatever area it is. Does this make sense what I'm saying? Yeah. That's why when we look at the body, we look at it holistically. We're not just looking at one organ or anything. We're looking at it as made up of so many different systems. When you hold your breath now, what's happening is this. Normally when what we call chi flows in and out of us, our body is like just a medium. It's like a doorway. Yeah. So when you breathe in and breathe out, everything should be working in unison, isn't it? But within your own being, or even my being, and most of our beings, somewhere within us, we have unconsciously held to a certain point in our body. And I'll give you an example. Let's say, for example, if you hold on to a point that is near your root chakra, or near your let's say your genitalia area, unconsciously. I think you're starting to understand now that you can hold stuff unconsciously, innit? When you hold into this area unconsciously now, your whole body is going to be affected by it. You're not aware that you're holding on to it. When I say holding on to, it's almost like tying a knot on a hose. That makes sense. It's actually not a knot, it's actually just a pinch.
Right, okay.
It makes sense. But when you hold your breath now, this pinch of the hose, it starts being, it can be seen more. It's much more evident that there's a pinch. And that's why, for example, your leg starts flinching.
Yeah.
But when you're not conscious of it, and then you just kind of like, and when you're not holding your breath, everything just kind of gets on with it. It tries to cope with this pinch.
I see.
Whereas the body is always trying to seek equilibrium.
I see.
Does that make sense what I'm saying? What I described to you there was like the most simplest way I could describe it. The most simplest way. But for myself, through my meditation, I'm able to I can view my whole body like in a multi-dimensional way. Like it's amazing. There's times when I meditate, just before I reach 0 point, I can see that I'm actually made up of just space. I can see the space between all my cells and for everything. I see all the spaces. That we're literally like levitating. And I think on a quantum level, they say that as well. Nothing's actually touching anything.
Yeah.
Does it make sense? I reached these states of perception just before I reached 0 point.
But that is, I mean, after this, I'll look for it and send it to you. I was actually watching something about, there was I don't know if he's like a quantum scientist, just a really clever guy that knows about all the physics of the universe. And he was saying that like, if you could iron our bodies, like if you could get all the space out of it and be left with what we're actually made of, like the actual matter in our bodies, it's so small that you could iron everybody in the planet, all 7 billion people, and all the matter that we're all made of could fit on the palm of your hand.
Wow, yeah, wow, interesting.
It's like if you think of the atoms, it's just energy. It's a positive bit and a negative bit of energy that are holding each other together. There's nothing actually there. We're just made up. We're not made up of anything, really.
Yeah. It's really interesting. It's so interesting.
Like a professor at university or something, and he explains it really clearly, and it's mind blowing, man.
Yeah. Well, you know, like, you know, when we're in a state of duality gives us this solidity that we believe in, this materialism. Yeah. But when you're able just to kind of watch and behold, this duality becomes what we call like non-duality or in quotes omnipresentness.
Okay.
Or what I like to describe as 0 point as well. You literally realize that actually you are part of everything and everything's a part of you. So in reality, all we are is just like awareness.
Yeah.
And this matter, like you say, there's only matter if you give it matter. So anyway, listen, we're going off a tangent. But Aldo, what I'm saying here is this: if you continue practicing, in the beginning, right now, you're able to watch your legs like kicking. Yes. You're able to see that this limb here that is attached to me it feels like it's disconnected. It feels like it wants to run away somewhere. The more you watch, literally, it feels like it wants to do its own thing. Keep on watching it, keep on doing this practice, and eventually you're going to allow it to do its own thing. And what's going to happen is it doing its own thing is going to allow it to seek conclusion. Does it make sense? It's going to seek conclusion. Most of us in our lives, we are constantly trying to seek conclusion because we've held something within us. We haven't let it go. The only way you can seek conclusion is if you let things unfold. Allow it to take the route of least resistance. Allow the water to finish trickling down the well or trickling down the hill. I'm speaking in metaphor. So the more you do this, eventually you're going to realize that there is something within your own being somewhere, both physically and metaphorically. Remember, there's a massive connection between what you believe and what is real. You will notice somewhere between metaphorically and physically that you're holding on to. And when you find that place, you're going to let go and your body's going to do some weird twist and you're going to hear a click. And that click that I'm describing is somewhere along your vertebrae. It's stuck.
Okay.
Does it make sense? Whenever I describe
Yeah.
things to people, I'm describing not just on a physical level. I'm speaking on a psychological level as well. When we
Yeah.
say psychology, this is the Western term, Western thought of it. When we talk
Yeah.
about our psychology in the Eastern, we're talking about more about awareness.
I see.
Does it make sense? Psychology, they try to break everything down. We make it, it's very simple. You're either aware or not aware.
Yeah.
Does it make sense? Because they break it down to different like facets that are things that for us, you're either aware or not aware.
Yeah.
But the way to become aware is actually just to watch, keep on watching.
Okay.
We're constantly distracting ourselves, you know.
Yeah.
This coil here for me, from just talking to you and you describing your past and everything like that, I know for 100% it's through your root. 100%. Whereas remember, the root is connected to, the clues in the word, the root is connected to where you're coming from.
Yeah.
You know, when you describe that you moved away from everywhere, I don't want to give away too much. And I think we discussed of allowing this to be uploaded. You're right there.
Yeah.
And this is how it goes, isn't it? Yeah, watch it back again and tell me afterwards, isn't it? Yeah, but from what you're describing, yeah, it's to do with your root. To do with it's a low lumbar, somewhere, even the SI joint maybe, somewhere that needs to click. But this, when we say click here, you can go to chiropractor and he'll click it. The click that he gives you is an external click.
I understand.
It's nowhere compared to a click that you do yourself.
It has to come from within.
Bro, I'm telling you, man. A lot of people ask me, "Oh, what do you think about chiropractors?" I think chiropractors are awesome. We call them bone setters in our culture. So I'm a bone setter. If you have an accident and your arm gets dislocated, come to my man. If you just had an accident, come to my man or chiropractor. We'll pop it back in place. Then it's sorted out. But for me, if someone's had a problem for a long time and they ask me to click the shoulder, I know the problem's not the shoulder.
It's up here.
Does it make sense? I could click your shoulder back in place, but whatever it was that put the shoulder out of place, it's still going to be there. It's internal.
I understand.
That's when you shouldn't go chiropractor. You should go to someone like me. Because what you have is deep rooted. Does it make sense? That's a big difference between bone setter, between chiropractor and bone setter. Chiropractors are good, don't get me wrong. They know what they're doing. They all know how to pop bones and everything back. But that's only for immediate, if something just happened to you now. But if you've had a problem for a long time, I'm telling you, you think your shoulder's out, but I say to many people, the problems that could be down here in your root. And eventually it's led up to the point where your shoulder's out of place.
Yeah.
But if you pop the shoulder, the root cause is still down there. So let's go back to yourself. It will get to a point, Aldo, where you can perceive exactly what it is you're holding on to. You let go, you allow that, in quotes, that limb to seek conclusion. And what's going to happen is going to whip. The limb is going to do something and it's going to let go to the point where the root of it, of where it's glitched or where it's not, or where it's pinched, it's going to be able to flap like that and the bone's going to click.
Okay.
Does that make sense? That's why I was smiling. I didn't want to give the game away, innit? I knew this was going to happen to you. When you go to the water and the sea, you're going to be facing downwards. I knew that, but I didn't tell you. Here's the thing. You keep doing that facing downwards, and eventually you'll be able to do that flip that I'm talking about. Because your body's going to convulse. At the moment, as you're holding on to it, I notice, at the moment, as you're holding on to it, your body is convulsing, but you still haven't not completely let go. You're still, in quotes, controlling the way you're looking. The Hulk has not been released.
Yeah.
You remember me mentioning the Hulk? If I hold your head down, even if I was your father holding your head down, eventually you're gonna want to claw my eyes out to let me go. Let me go. You won't be composed like, oh, you understanding? So likewise, it will get to a point where you're facing down and you'll be convulsing so hard that you're gonna flip. You're like, Wah! You understand?
Yeah.
You see the energy that's coming out here. That's the tiger. Remember, I was talking about releasing the tiger, the Hulk. When you release the tiger, the Hulk, that's when the limb's gonna seek conclusion, and you hear a pop. It's gonna pop. It might be a pop or a click or something, and it's gonna be an internal one. And when you take a breath after that, it's gonna go all the way down. And then you're going to feel, because right now, as you take a breath in, you can't release it, because it's getting stuck.
Mm-hmm.
Or get to the point where you take a breath down. This happens to me. When I take a breath, in quotes, down, it comes in, but then I feel it absorb. I feel it melt away on the outside.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I want, man. I mean, I've tried so many other things, like external things, like, like this thing or.
Yeah. Like for myself, that's what I have to do because I can't find someone like me to massage me. A lot of my massages come through my qigong. Like I was saying to people, when I do qigong, I do sounds as well. Like I make noises, all this stuff. That's me internal massage.
I see.
Whereas when we massage on the outside, this is just external.
Yeah.
Not internal.
Yeah.
And you're having to use your own limb to massage here. So what's going to happen to this side here?
Yeah.
I'm massaging here, but then what happened to here that I'm using?
Yeah.
So for me, it's like akin to a dog chasing its own tail.
Yeah.
You understand? It makes sense what I'm saying, innit? That's why we do. That's why we need each other in life. Like here's another thing I was saying to you before. Innit? Fundamentally, this is to do with Taoism as well. We're all alone. We're all born alone, man.
Yeah.
But we're all alone together.
Yeah.
That's what we call sharing this life. So sometimes you need someone on the outside to help you. So all you need to do is concentrate on your breath.
Yeah.
That's what I do during my massage sessions. I'm always telling people, just watch your breath, man. That's all you need to do. The more you watch the breath, the more easy it's for me. And that's why sometimes when I'm massaging people, I'm talking to them. I'm distracting their ego. Some people watch the videos and say, "Oh, this guy talks too much." No, man. I talk when it's necessary. Sometimes I go completely quiet because I'm now aware the person they don't need me to the monkey doesn't need to be distracted. I stop talking. You hear me talking in a video, I'm distracting the person that I'm massaging. Get him to let go.
But there's one of your videos where you keep on repeating this thing, and I repeat it to myself now when I'm doing my stretching and my breathing. I say, breathe in, meet the tension, breathe out, release the tension. And you were saying that if you focus when you breathe in, like if there's a sore spot here on my back, if I'm touching it and I shut my eyes and I breathe and really concentrate, the breath, it does go to that point.
Yeah, it does that. That's chi.
I do feel it. It's when you're like in a park massaging a guy in a chair, like an early video of yours.
Yeah, it's an architect in the Beauvoir Square. Yeah.
That's the one. And I've started to kind of reach that level of awareness with myself, with my own. If I really, really concentrate, the breath, I can send it to any point in my body, really. And now I'm trying to send it to this area in my left leg, and it feels like there's something. It does kind of wake it up. It does do something, man.
Yeah. You know? It's really, really important that we. You notice you've discovered yourself how powerful attention and intention is. It's so powerful. None of us are taught this from we're young, especially in the West, man.
Yeah.
It's so important. That's why this thing that you've been doing for the last 2 weeks is to learn more about this. You've been constantly holding your breath. So it's like you're doing like a crash course in intention and attention.
Yeah. Which
together means to focus, to watch, to behold. Attention and intention is the ability just to watch.
Yeah.
In the beginning, if you just have intention without no attention, you are doing things unconsciously, man. Likewise, if you have attention and no intention, you're doing it unconsciously. But to have both at the same time, you're really beholding. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Because one without the other is just ego.
I mean, like, it makes sense now because I'm practicing it and I'm really concentrating on it. But if you said this to me a month ago or whatever, it's really hard to imagine what it is you're talking about.
Yeah, it's really hard. That's why it was really important that I got you to hold your breath at first time. You were so surprised that you actually had to let go of breath rather than actually breathing in.
Yeah.
And you can only imagine now this lack ability, I guess, to not be able to let go. It affects everything, man.
Yeah.
But ultimately, what we want to achieve is like when we're first born, isn't it? just to be like a doorway. Like I always describe this doorway of like accepting and giving away, accepting and giving away.
Yeah.
That's why children they grow so quick. The whole universal, what we call a universal flow, goes right through them, and they just keep expanding, expanding. They expand to meet with the rest of the universe. And us guys, as the human mind forms, our crown kind of locks off. The energy kind of locks off, and then we kind of like just we start going downhill from there. But I don't know why it's happened like that. It's just the way it is, isn't it? If all animals have a peak point where their crown locks off, and you understand what I'm saying? Because if we didn't, we would expand to the size of the universe, and boy, I don't know what's gonna happen then. There'd be Godzillas everywhere.
You're right about that. Like, I mean, if you can put like I don't know, a 4-year-old black kid with a 4-year-old white kid with a 4-year-old Chinese kid, and they're just going to play. They're just going to run around.
Yeah, and you've been chucking some lion cubs and some jackal cubs and vulture cubs, and they're all going to get on with each other.
Yeah, exactly. But then when 20 years down the line, they might, hate each other. Like, what happens, man? Like, what's the cutoff point? Like, when does that start? It's so interesting, man. It's just.
Yeah, I've contemplated that, Like, a child is born innocent, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the human world that it is born into is sinful. That's why I understand all these kind of like, in scriptures and stuff, to talk about the first sin and all this stuff. Mm-hmm. I've contemplated it. People are not born evil, but it's an evil world that makes us become evil, Like a sinful world makes us become sinful. And where did it start from? We don't know. That's why the Genesis and all this kind of stuff it interests me. But being someone who follows Taoism, I don't look too much into it because I'm more about the present moment. It's not that I've denied these perspectives. I find it very interesting. Yeah, but us guys, we're more about the present moment. We try to keep it as simple as possible.
But that's one of the reasons why Taoism is clicking with me a lot, because like I'm not ashamed to say it, I've told you before, but I've been recovered from addictions and things, and it's part of Narcotics Anonymous and Alcoholics Anonymous and all the rest of it, that you live in the moment.
Yeah. Aldo, I think you should be proud, man. Dude, seriously, man, you're an inspiration. Seriously, like proper, man.
A mantra before I met you, like, when things get on top of you, you just hang on, like, put the brakes on, take a breath, live in the moment. Am I warm? Have I got food in my stomach? Have I got my house? And you realize that everything's all right.
Yeah.
If you moment.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
I've learned that a few times, In the past, I said I was a bit shady, innit, when I was younger. I've been in situations where life threatening, man. And I look back now, I'm like, boy, whenever I worry now, it's minor. There's no need to worry. I've been in situations where someone just needs to pull the trigger and I'm dead.
Yeah.
There's very, very close. Even things where, just a lot of things, man. Even like a child, when we were escaping Vietnam to, with my family were boat people back in the day. And we had to escape Vietnam. But we could have died many times, man. So now little things that I find other people worry about, I have a little giggle inside. I'm like, boy. And they see me giggling, and I'm sure, nothing giggle, I'm very aware of this. My presence calms people.
Yeah.
It's almost like I'm like, man, what you're suffering right now is minor, man. Trust me.
Yeah.
And I don't say it loudly, but I feel that it emanates from me, And people they calm down.
Yeah.
No, but like you're right, man. Whenever you're going through any situation, just say to yourself, like, be honest, be dead honest. Yeah. Right now, what I'm worrying about is it in any imminent danger?
Yeah.
Because man's might be worried about not being able to pay the bills and stuff. You know what I mean? Really think about it. Am I in danger right now, though? So instead of me worrying about me not being able to pay the bills, let's start thinking about how I can pay these bills. I'm using bills as an example. Have you got another? Here's another one. Here's a good one. I'm gonna be executed tomorrow. Why worry about the axeman's axe when you can start enjoying this meal now? My last meal, I want a steak, I want lobster, I want chips, I want gravy, I want vanilla ice cream in there as well. But man, let the Axeman come. Because, you know, I know, for me, if I know that I'm going to get executed tomorrow, right now, everything is irie, you get me?
Yeah.
Because I know it's going to happen tomorrow. So right to now, I'm going to sleep well. This makes sense. That's my perspective. That's how I perceive things.
Totally, man. Living in the moment, that's the key to everything, man.
Like proper, seriously. But here's the thing though.
And live in the moment, and maybe we can have a little bit of control over tomorrow, but it doesn't exist yet. The only thing that we have, I mean, the other thing that I've been thinking about is how what I like about this meditation is that your mind, it flits back and forth in time, but your body only knows about this second right now. My body doesn't understand yesterday or tomorrow or 10 years time, you know? And I find that like my mind goes like this, forward and back in time, but your body's static. And when you like really meditate and really concentrate, your mind comes in line with that being in one set. Does that make any sense?
Is this what you learned from the last 2 weeks, Aldo?
No, well, it was already, it crystallized in my mind in the last 2 weeks, because I noticed that when I'm exercising, if I'm running or press ups, whatever, you can only do it properly and get benefit out of it if you can get your mind to shut the fuck up about what I'm going to eat for lunch tomorrow, or what did I eat yesterday, and forget all of that and get your mind into this 1 second, because your body isn't conscious about that. Your body only knows about right now. Do you know? Man, what I mean?
you've hit the nail on the head. Well done. You've graduated to the next level, man.
I mean, I see it as like two components: your body and your mind. And your mind's going like this, but the body is constant, and you've got to get them lined up, man.
Yeah.
And then it all starts to flow, and it relaxes you. It just relaxes you. You know?
Yeah. You've got it exactly that. That's what meditation allows. The practice allows you. So you're completely right. The body, the temple, the horse, the tiger, the animal, the Hulk, always about now. Always about now. Human mind is all over the shop. Monkey mind all over the shop. Monkey mind is never in the present moment.
Yeah, I mean, but you can go back in 1 second.
Yeah.
You can think something that happened 25 years ago, and the next second you can think, oh, 25 years in the future, I want to be doing this, that, or the other.
Yeah.
It's like crazy time that crosses in your mind.
Yeah.
But your body's totally ignorant.
Yeah, that's it. Right. So so body is always in the present moment. Body is material. It can only exist in the present moment. Yes?
Yeah.
Mind, in quotes, monkey mind or character, is never in the moment. It's always here and there. Monkey mind is always jumping from branch to branch. But here's the thing. Yeah. When you practice meditation, there's another thing that appears now. It's called awareness.
Okay.
Awareness now has the ability to be in all states. The more you practice meditation, awareness starts appearing. Awareness now is not the ego. Awareness is not the character anymore. Awareness is now something that the ego can use, can actually latch onto.
Okay.
Does it make sense? Because when you start watching the tide of the sea coming in and out, yes, that there now is the present moment.
Yeah.
Think about this. What is awareness?
That's what I want to ask you. I mean, is it awareness of myself? Awareness of the world around me? Awareness of...
Right, so here, let me help you. So here, let me help you. Awareness is similar to this. You have an eye, yes?
Yeah.
You can see your eye by looking in a mirror. You can see the reflection of your eye and you look using the mirror. But how do you see your eye without a reflection?
I see.
Awareness is this. Awareness is when you say to be able to see my character. This is using a mirror to look at it.
So
Yeah. When you use a
I
mirror to look at your own eye, you're still only seeing what you want to see.
yeah.
It's only a reflection. When you take away this mirror now and you just watch, that there is awareness.
So you mean like I become the mirror instead of looking at the mirror?
When you become the mirror, that is still a reflection.
Okay.
I tried to send you a link, or maybe you can Google it afterwards. It's what we call naked intrinsic awareness.
Okay.
Naked intrinsic awareness is the purest form of awareness. Awareness is like it's a perception that is always there. It's an awareness that was before you was Aldo. It was awareness before I was Tao or Kai or whatever this avatar that it is now. Awareness was before you was conceived. Okay. Awareness was before your parents was conceived for you to be perceived.
Okay.
So what we describe as awareness, it was neither born and it will never die. It's deathless. So in Buddhism, awareness is what they describe as the Buddha. It's not a being. A lot of people think, they think of this kind of like Buddha as being a being. It's not a being, man. Doesn't make sense what I'm saying. Whereas right now, as you're perceiving, me and you, we're conversing, we're extrapolating, we're using our mind to see this thing.
Yeah.
But if we just sit still here, sit still now and just watch without blinking, watch without focus, yeah?
Yeah.
Eventually you start not just seeing what's in front of the eyes, you start seeing what's behind the eyes.
So if I'm meditating and I'm thinking about awareness, but I'm actually being aware of myself, that's the ego, right?
Yeah.
That's right?
Yeah. The moment you start having an intention or attention, that's no longer meditation as well. It's very paradoxical. Meditation, all it is just to watch, And what I said before last time as well, each time you practice, do not compare it to the last time. Each time you practice, it's almost like you should be doing it for the first time.
Okay.
There's never a competition. It's never a goal in it. It's very paradoxical. If there's a very thin line between, it's very thin.
It's tough. It's really tough to make sense of it, man.
Yeah.
Like, talking about it consciously with you is tough because a lot of it is in the unconscious.
Yeah. It's only awareness is even beyond that, the more you become, the more you practice,
yeah,
you start realizing that the gap between unconscious and conscious becomes much more thinner. For many of us, when we don't practice, the gap between unconscious and conscious is very many layers, many lenses are put on.
I see.
Because when you're first born into this world, the thickness, the width of unconscious and conscious is very thin. As a like a newborn baby, when you see them come out, their eyes are wide open, man. You shine a bright light in their eyes. The irises don't even open up.
Yeah.
The irises are already open up. They're so open already. So unconscious and conscious, when you're first born, is this very thin. But as you get older and you start developing, the thickness of unconscious and conscious, the barrier becomes thick and thicker. Many people, before they die, it's so thick that they're scared to die. They think that they are going to die. And I tell you now, we don't die, man. We've just forgotten.
Yeah.
It sounds very mumble jumble here, but man, I've come very close. And through my practices as well, I have no fear of death, man, whatsoever.
I believe you, man. I believe you, because something that had a massive impact on me when I was about 12, 13 was my grandfather, who's an Italian, very religious Catholic, had an out-of-body experience. during like a massive heart attack. And he said, you know, the thing about floating through a tunnel toward light, and he saw God and his family members and all the rest of it. And like my grandfather was the most non-mumbo jumbo person, the most non-hippie type person, you know.
Yeah,
And to say that and feel that had a massive effect on me. And that's actually what started me on this path
yeah,
of, you know, kind of search for answers and energy and what's beyond, you know, like
yeah,
what is the nature of us and the universe, man.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And you can let it get on top of you, man. You can let it get on top of you and start to drown you, because there's so many things that you can't really answer in this life, in this consciousness, like this being,
Yeah, yeah.
because you're talking about other dimensions that you can't experience in this form, but maybe your mind can get there. I don't know, man. It's like, I don't know if I'm making any sense or talking rubbish, but
No, it does. You know,
it's,
it's good just to let. It's good just to to let it out, isn't it? For me personally, the
yeah,
more I practice, so when you say there's a lot of questions that can't be answered, the more I
yeah,
practice, the less questions I have. Here's another really liberating thing as well, because I have friends that are constantly, you know, doing their research about ancient aliens and all this kind of stuff and
yeah, yeah,
Illuminati. I'm sure we all got friends like this, isn't it? But for
yeah,
myself, man, I have no more questions.
yeah,
I don't need to know. Like I was saying to you before, I find certain things interesting, like Genesis and like the Kabbalah and even the Quran.
yeah,
All these different things, I find it interesting, but I don't look too much into it. I don't
yeah.
need to. Even UFOs, I've seen bare UFOs, man. Yeah, I look at places where most people don't look. I have this ability just to watch, but I've seen a lot of things that are in quotes are unidentified or unexplainable. But I don't go into depth of it. I don't see things that I can't explain and go into the internet and try to search for the answer. I ain't gonna find the answer in the bloody through the human mind, man.
Yeah.
So the more I practice meditation or practice just to behold, the layers unravel, the layers unfold. Likewise, the physical body starts unraveling. My ability to be able just to allow chi to flow through me becomes much more unhampered. And when this happens now, the monkey mind becomes very humbled. No more questions. The cup
And
starts emptying. When
and
we
so that
find, yeah,
what you're saying now, that is um, that's acceptance, right? Just
yeah,
pure acceptance. You see something you can't explain, it's acceptance, right?
yeah, yeah. Look, when I look at the ocean, when I watch the waves come in, come and go, I just watch it come and go. I don't ask where did that wave come and where did that wave go to. Many
Yeah,
people, when monkey mind, they say, "Oh, how does a wave come and go?"
yeah.
Yeah, many people,
It's
I
the
might make
purest.
I might make a fire, isn't it? I make a fire. For me, making a
Yeah,
fire like this is fine. I don't need to find another way to make it even easier, so I can do
yeah,
something. Does it make sense? It's always about now.
yeah,
So the more we practice to meditate, the more, like I say, you start studying yourself. You start noticing things, and then you can start letting go, letting things seek
yeah,
conclusion. These things that I'm describing it's both memories and quotes. So here's the thing with memories, yeah. Memories
yeah,
now is something that's happened in the past, but a physical anomaly or physical thing took place as well. Many of us, when we
yeah.
go through some form of uncomfortableness,
Mhm.
like I was saying to you before, our ego makes the body hold its breath. When
I
the ego
understand.
makes the body hold its breath now, it makes something of the past, something that's already happened, stay in the body. And remember the body is always in the present moment. So each time you
Yeah,
hold your breath, each time the ego remembers something, it makes the body hold it within itself. So the body is like forever changing, isn't it? But these memories that we hold on to, they stay there. This is what we describe as becoming, like in quotes, cancerous or anything. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Yes. So the more we practice just to watch, the more things can start seeking conclusion. But before that happens, layers start need to be shedded off.
yeah,
You know, here's another thing. Like, so with myself, I think I was saying to you last time as well. I'm okay with most everything, man. Someone say to me, "Oh, do you prefer chips or fries? Fat chips or thin chips?" I say, "I don't mind." Some people might say, "Oh, do you like it warm or cold weather?" I don't mind.
Yeah.
I don't mind. You know, but let's be extreme now. Some people don't like black people.
Yeah.
Some people don't like fat people.
Yeah.
Some people don't like the way they look in the mirror. This is going very extreme now.
Yeah.
You can only imagine what they're holding inside themselves to when they look in the mirror to not like it. Whew.
Yeah.
Sad, man. No one's, you understand what I'm saying? And it's things that's happened in the past for them to get to this point. So now, the more we practice now, the more we can start unraveling and letting go. So let's go back to yourself, Aldo, with the practices. Yeah, you continue doing this now. You're in the sea. You're looking down. You're holding your breath.
Mm-hmm.
Keep on watching. Keep on watching. It's going to get to a point where you're going to start getting familiar with how your body reacts to the lack of to the door being closed. Yeah, you're going to start getting used to how it's going to react to how the door is being closed. How you're disallowing it just to be. It's going to start wanting to move. Yes. Eventually, you're going to start noticing that the body is like an animal that you cannot control, that you've been trying to control for all this time. It's almost like an animal that's been broken. You know, when you broke an animal, it just does what you tell it to do. Even if you make it eat crap, it will eat it. Yeah. You keep watching, but eventually you're going to start allowing it to slowly but surely allow it to do what it wants to do. To the point where I'm saying it's going to do some. You're going to be flapping in the water and everything, man. You need to tell people, like I was saying to you before, make sure you have someone maybe close to you or someone, let them know what you're doing. But on the outside, remember, on the outside, monkey mind is going to be thinking, what the fudge is this guy doing? Remember, there's many monkey minds in this world. I'm very aware of it. This is why we become compassionate, Aldo. The more I practice, the more I become aware of other monkey minds.
Yeah.
Does it make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, it does, man.
Yeah. Just let people know what you're doing. Because I promise you, the more you allow the animal to start expressing itself, to freely express itself, it will start seeking conclusion. You as the perceiver of what's happening, you will start seeing things flashing through your mind. Yeah, you will start seeing things flash through your mind. It might be colors, it might be emotions. Emotions are to do with physical as well. So you will start seeing either images and stuff flashing through your, in quotes, your mind. But also you start feeling emotions flashing. This not niceness that you're feeling. That's emotion. And you hear your heart flutter. On a physical Western, they say it's because right now you're under stress and you're feeling all this thing. To us guys, that's you. You're feeling an emotion around your heart, like your heart chakra, your heart organ. But the more you watch this now, you're going to start noticing that it's going to want to seek conclusion, and the animal is going to start thrusting. It's going to start moving, and it's going to it will get to a point where you're going to flip right round and you hear pop inside. You'll feel the correction internally. And what's going to happen, you're going to take a fat gulp in, and it's going to go all the way down. Your whole body's going to fill up a chi. Like, it's almost like a balloon gets expanded. And when you let go, you're going to feel it all melt on the outside. You're not going to feel any air want to escape out of your mouth. It's going to melt on the outside. Does it make sense? It's like a golden... It's like a golden blanket or something starts coming out like this. That's why, when we practice from young, people who do Tai Chi and stuff, they know what I'm talking about. When you breathe in, it comes in, and when the breath out, it actually just melts out from the outside. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it sounds amazing, man. That's what I want.
Yeah, I'm literally describing the tangible steps, the process. You keep practicing, you start watching, you start noticing these things. But you being by the sea, like I was saying last time as well, it's exponential. Yeah. Whereas to hold your breath on land is a bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even when you're doing it on land, it's still good as well. Don't get me wrong. But you can still do that flip on the land, but you end up being on the floor. If you try to hold your breath in a seated position, it's hard. Just the leg starts kicking as well. but because you're like in this kind of position it's hard to flip.
Yeah.
If you're lying prone on the floor and you hold your breath, you start doing this kind of stuff, and then you can flip. Does it make sense? Likewise, if you're standing up and holding your breath, your body starts doing all these kind of movements there, and it will flip as well. Does it make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is yeah.
The sea, it definitely helps your energy flow because of the salt water. The salt conducts electricity, and when you're immersed in it, because we've got the aura coming out of us, it's like helping. It's just like pulls the energy through you. How I feel sometimes when I'm in the sea.
Yeah. Keep on doing this. Yeah, keep on practicing this, man. Right now, still practice holding the breath. Was it's actually it's a form of meditation. It's still breath work, which you're constantly holding on to the breath.
I will, man.
And how do you find after you've been practicing it? How do you find your whole being afterwards?
Amazing. I just feel so relaxed and so peaceful, and the way I talk to people is different now. There's like one very, very good friend of mine. He's actually the guy that I'm helping run his building project. He's more than a friend. I'm very, very close with him. And he said to me in these past 2 weeks, he's like, I love whatever it is you're doing. I love it because it's bringing the best out of you, and you're just different. You're just much more calmer, and you're making me feel calmer. Just sitting here listening to you talking about all this hippie stuff, like about giving away acceptance and being at one and acceptance and all this, that, and the other. He's like, whatever it is, keep doing it.
Yeah.
And join me, man. Just don't watch me. You should do it as well.
Yeah.
I want everyone doing this. The world would be a better place.
Yeah. But start with yourself, Aldo, man. Just keep doing it for yourself, and then you inspire others, man. I promise you. I try not to preach, innit?
Yeah.
Just always start on yourself, man. Yeah. Because I've watched like social media and stuff. A lot of people they kind of like they push themselves to do better by telling other people to do it, and for me, it's not the right way, man. Just do it yourself. Don't worry about other people. Just do it for yourself, man. Just do it for yourself. You understand what I'm saying? I don't need to wave a banner like
Just like lead by example, right?
Literally, man. That's one of the best gifts that we can leave for the next generation.
Yeah.
Some people like to write books and all this stuff, man. No, just live for example, man. Just live for your own family, do really well for them. For your friends, do really well for them. That's all you need to do. If everyone does that, that's everything's sorted. I don't need to do I have a YouTube channel. That just happened accidentally, Whatever I do, I'm still me. I'm not doing it just like, oh, look at me. No, I'm just doing it. I've been doing this for time. The YouTube channel thing was boy, I don't know how that happened. It was lucky that day my nephew came along. He said, oh, let me tag along with you, uncle. Sorry, he calls me unks. Let me tag along with you, unks. And he just filmed me. And then, boy, people started watching. I'm like, whoa, I didn't... Even the first video was when I was teaching in the park. My students filmed me.
Yeah, that's how I found you. I was just looking on YouTube for tips on how to release your shoulders or muscle tension, whatever.
Yeah.
And then that's how I found it. And I was just like, wow, like this guy definitely touched me in some way. And then I contacted you on Instagram, and now here we are, man.
Yeah. But you know what you're practicing now? It helps with everything, innit?
Yeah, for sure.
With everything, man. Because a lot of people, when we do these online sessions, with me, a lot of the movements that I show them is like swimming. I always say to them, it's almost like you're doing the breaststroke, or you're doing the frog or something like that. But being able to do it in the water, oh my days.
Yeah.
It is like big life changer, it's game changer. You're blessed, Aldo, I'm telling you, man.
I'm lucky.
The moves that you did, you've been following, in some weird, wonderful way, you've been going the flow. You've been doing the whole Tao thing, you didn't realize.
I didn't realize until I heard it.
Yeah, man. Seriously. And here's nothing.
Your body is a conduit. Like I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't eat sugar, because you just feel rough afterwards. And then keeping myself pure physically helps me with this 100%. like if I was eating chocolate and drinking Coca-Cola or whatever else it is, I don't think I'd be able to do this or not as easily, but I wouldn't be able to slip into it as happily and as easy as I have been these past few weeks.
Yeah,
you know, good. That's people smoking a lot. Like, how do you smoke, man? Like, I don't smoke. What are you doing, man?
I only quitted smoking like during lockdown. You know.
Are you serious?
Yeah, man. I used to be a smoker, man. Yeah, proper. But you know how I quit? I just stopped smoking.
Yeah.
Like literally stopped smoking. I stopped smoking in February.
I'm surprised. Well, congratulations. I'm happy.
Like seriously, yeah. You know, I haven't been like this all my life, and like I was saying, my past is a bit dodgy, man.
Yeah.
I'm no saint, man.
Me neither, man. Me neither. But I've been like, what is it now? 11, 12 years. Different like 100 total change, man. Total.
I'm telling you, like, you're inspiring. Seriously, just keep it up.
Right.
No, proper.
That's
embarrassing. Watch through this video. Watch through the video, Aldo. I'll send the link again, and if you're up for it, man, I'll really upload it, man. But remember, to share it. Sorry, we'll help other people.
The stuff I say at the beginning, that's like private, but it's
let me know which parts, and I'll dub it out. I'll just mute it out.
Because I've got my he's my best friend in London. I love him dearly. He's struggling at the minute, and I sent him your details last night. And he lives in North London. I'm like, listen, man, I live in Italy, and I'm seeing this guy online, and I would love to see him in person. You've got to go and meet him.
Let him watch this video, Aldo.
I will, man. I will.
Let him watch it, man. Like, for reals. Because remember, it helps other people. It makes other people contact, and also it helps me. Let's be honest.
Okay, man. Okay.
You know what I'm saying, yeah. Okay. But watch through the video first and let me know if you're up for it. I don't, you know what I mean? I want you to be like 100% about it. I don't know. Yeah. All right. It's also nice though. Can you imagine about 10 years time, we'll watch back on these videos like, rah, look at me. I still got black hair.
Mine's gone, man. I've gone bald, man.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that to myself. I'm just gonna shave it all off, bro. I don't care, boy. It looks good. From a young age, I always wanted like white hair here. I mean, now I've got it. I'm really like, I always look forward to being old. I always say I always tell my friends that I always look forward to being old. On a egotistical sense, I look forward to being old because a lot more people gonna take me seriously. I'll be like my dad, innit? I'll be like 70 years old and looking 40 and stuff, and 50. But yeah, Aldo, so continue doing what you're doing so far. Let's just recap what you said early on. You hit the nail on the head. Body is always about now. Monkey mind is all over the shop. But when you train monkey mind by doing this practice, you're training now for awareness to start presenting itself more. Awareness has always been there. It's just that monkey mind has not been looking at awareness. Awareness is almost like the sun shining on monkey. Monkey is on the trees, jumping up and down. Monkey has not looked up that there is a sun shining down on him. When you keep on practicing, after a while, you'll be perceiving, just for now, I'm using it as a linear description. The more you practice to meditate, you will no longer be looking from monkey mind or from the monkey. You'll be watching the whole picture from the sun. I'm using a linear description. Because awareness is not linear. Awareness is not just from the sun. Does it make sense what I'm saying? Yeah?
It's beginning to make a lot of sense, yeah, man.
Yeah. It's beautiful, because
it's so complicated with awareness or what, like you can go in so many different directions.
Yeah. It's man. Yeah, to be honest, it's complicated when you don't practice meditation. Because when you try to see things from monkey mind, everything looks very like a problem that you need to solve. But the more you practice it, you stop looking from monkey mind, you start looking from awareness, things become very easy and simple. Yeah. There's this archetype image of Gautama when he meditated, and they say the crown opens. When the crown opens now, there's so many eyes. You see, like there's a picture of many eyes. It means that now he can see in all directions. When you're in monkey mind, monkey mind is located here, middle eye. Most things is like problem that you need to solve. That's what monkey mind is. But when you practice meditation now, I'm using metaphor again, but when you practice meditation now, you wear a crown. The crown of meditation appears and it actually shuts the middle eye, and then you have to watch from up here.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Yeah, I hope it does. But just have faith in what I'm saying.
I do, man. I do.
Just keep on watching, keep on practicing, and after a while, the layers start unfolding. Then you start noticing where it is that you are holding on to. Then you start realizing, oh, all I need to do is just to not hold on, and all of a sudden that limb is gonna flop. You know how you clear a mat, a rug or something. You go like that. That happens. You flop like that. And the whole spine does the same thing, and then you hear click or pop or somewhere. And then the first breath will be actually a breath in. That's when you know you've hit a eureka, a moment. Does it make sense?
Okay. Yeah, man, it does.
And remember, when you hold your breath, Aldo, don't breathe in and hold your breath, and don't breathe out and hold your breath. Just have the intention. I'm gonna hold my breath now. Does it make sense?
Okay.
You're not like having intention. Then no.
Okay.
I'm gonna hold on my breath now. It doesn't matter where you are on the in or out breath, because at the moment the in and out breath is not right. Because if you force the breath out now, when it's not right in the first place, it's gonna make it even worse. The whole point is just to hold your breath wherever it is in the cycle, so that when you eventually do, in quotes, allow the door to swing open, it's going to catch on more closer to where it should be. Okay. That makes sense, doesn't it, what I'm saying?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
The whole practice is about allowing the ego, the monkey mind, the ego just to let go a bit more.
Yeah. Okay, man.
Yeah. And, you're going through a tough time. If you wish, let me know. Send me a little message and I can send you some money.
And it's all good. It's not.
Yes.
Thank you. You're so kind, man. You're so kind. But it's just, it's more like managing stress and not letting monkey minds race off and go down all these pointless rabbit warrens. Do you know what I mean? I'm all right today. Like, what's the point of worrying about? Are we going to have beaten COVID by this time next year?
Yeah.
Well, I can't help change that by worrying about that. So I need to control monkey mind, basically. That's what it is, man.
Yeah. So here's another thing about control: is don't try to control monkey mind. Remember it's paradoxical. Just watch. Okay. Just hold the breath.
Okay.
I mean that's it. That's how you distract monkey mind.
Okay.
Remember, monkey mind is you can't control it. The monkey is like he's a free animal, man. He wants to. The moment you try to hold on to him, he bites you. Yeah. So what you do is like, hey, monkey mind, look at this. And what you tell him to look at is to look at the body. Okay. And you reward him. You reward him by by allowing the. This is how you reward monkey mind. The moment you stop holding the breath, the body feels release. Monkey mind feels release as well. That's what monkey mind gets rewarded with. And the more you do it, this release, this feeling of, in quotes, of contentness is more so. Okay. Does it make sense? It's different to drugs, man. Very different to drugs. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Completely different. It's a completely different type of reward. It's a wholesome thing. It's contentness. Yeah, so don't try to control monkey mind. Just hold on your breath, and that's it. Monkey mind has to look onto the bloody. You understand? What monkey mind is doing at the moment is telling you, you need to let go, man. You need to let go. You need to let go. You need to compose yourself as people are watching you. All these things are like what monkey mind's saying at the moment. But the more you hold on to it, the threshold gets pushed a bit further and further and further to the point where monkey mind starts realizing, I need to let whatever's happening to happen. I need to
Okay.
let whatever's happening to continue. Was now I'm realizing that each time I do that, the more I'm able to see what's going to happen next.
Okay.
Does
Okay.
it make sense? I'm saying it. Monkey mind starts becoming more aware of what it needs to do.
It does, because before you said all that, like 30 seconds ago, I was thinking about, okay, when monkey mind's worrying about what's going to happen to me next year, I need to grab the monkey and stuff it in a cage, and
Mm.
so he can't run around anymore. But that's not what I'm just going to do. The breath, hold my breath
Yeah, hold you. Yeah, yeah,
wherever I go, and concentrate on that.
yeah, yeah. Was the reason why is if you try to put the monkey in the cage, that's you doing it inside the mind,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and that can be dangerous, man. But if you hold
yeah,
into the breath now, remember the body is in the present moment.
yeah.
When you consciously hold into the breath, monkey mind now becomes aware that without the body, it cannot exist.
Okay.
It is literally like you either want to live or you want to die. Yes or no. When you hold it into put in a box, it's almost like the baby's crying. I'll give it like more sweets. Oh, the baby's crying. Give it like one of the dummies. Does it make sense?
Yeah,
Then baby is not gonna learn anything. But when you hold on to the breath now, this sounds extreme, innit? You're putting a fucking gun to the head. You want to live or you want to die, huh?
yeah.
Monkey, you want to live or you want to die? This is
No, no.
extreme, though. I'm talking about extreme. But but by doing this now, monkey is forced to look. It's almost you're peeling his eyes, but like, look what you're doing, monkey.
Yeah,
Monkey, look what you're doing. You understand? So monkey starts judging itself. It starts watching itself. That doesn't make sense. What I'm saying.
yeah. It does. Yeah,
And
it
then
does.
something can then you can start progressing. You're not putting underneath the rug.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
I'll give
and
it a go then.
I only can say this because I've been through this myself. Because I'm telling you, monkey, the ego is very clever, man. Was through my own journey, it got to one point where when I became in quotes insane. I meditated to the point where my ego tricked itself, believing that whatever it was doing was the right way. And when I say it only knew that what it was doing was wrong when it fell off the edge, and I had to start all over again. Like I'm telling you, when I talk about 0 point, I reached 0 point before I fell down. I had to come back up again, and now whenever I reach 0 point, I always don't expect it. Does it make sense? What I'm saying? It's very paradoxical, man. The ego is very powerful.
Well, that's what I mean. I'm not going to say yeah, it makes 100% because I'm just starting this journey,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's making me aware of the depth of it and how complicated it is and how it's just so much. There's just so much. It's like a life's work. This is like a life's
It
work.
is. Like, I've never been like, so I'm urban monk here. I've watched these documentaries about these yogis. And they usually just have one disciple and they go off in the mountains. I can only imagine the practices they do.
Yeah,
You know when I said that I'll hold with love your head down until you want to kill me to raise up, I would do that. I can only imagine what these yogis do.
yeah,
You hear what I'm saying? It's very, man, what they do, like any normal human being, if they see what they do, they think it's gonna be on a different level. I can only imagine. I'm just urban monk, and what I do, if other people see what I do, they think it's extreme. I can only imagine what other guys do. I'm not an ascetic. I don't starve myself and do those. Those are different kinds of things. I'm a different. Does it make sense what I'm saying?
yeah.
So my point is this: don't try to cage up monkey mind, but if you hold the breath,
Hmm.
that's like you watch yourself, man. You're telling monkey like watch, because it was monkey mind that held the breath in the first place. Does it make sense? Like from years ago,
Yeah.
and now when you hold your breath now, you're creating another, like in quotes, another ego.
Okay.
Because you're still 2 weeks in. I don't know if I said it to you in the beginning. So Aldo was not born Aldo. The character was
Yeah.
forming, isn't it?
Yeah.
By you now holding onto your breath, you're actually creating a new ego. Did you notice?
No.
Yeah, you're creating another character. So rather than trying to so I speak from my own perspective, my own past. Before, when I tried to kill myself, it was the ego trying to kill itself. It wasn't aware that if it killed itself, there was no coming back. So what happened is it got to the point where a new ego had to be born. It was a rebirth.
So,
But
so
the
you're saying, like, sorry to interrupt, but because I just wanted to make sure, um, you're holding the breath and you're creating the new ego, but that's a good thing, right? That's
yeah,
not
yeah,
something that
yeah,
I'm.
yeah.
Okay.
The reason why it's good because it's subtle now. Each time you
Okay.
hold your new breath, each time you hold your breath, it's almost like an embryo is forming.
Okay.
Makes sense. Like another being is being formed, another character is being formed.
Okay.
And it's the old character that is viewing now this new being is formed. Eventually, this new being is going to become like another Aldo or another being, and this old
Okay.
one is going to start fading out or merging in with the new one. So the
Right.
transition or the transgression is transgression. The transition is much more subtle. It's almost like
I see.
welcoming a new character into the world. Does it make sense?
So,
Rather than just killing your ego, it's impossible, man. Because then where do you start from? What
I
you're doing
see.
here is you're learning to be what's the word, loving. You're creating another self. Does it make sense what I'm saying? I
Beginning
mean
to,
that new
yeah.
character is going to be the one that's going to be embodying the temple. Because each time you let go of the breath, so each time you let go of holding the breath, that new ego is going to be it's going to be more formed. Eventually, to the point where you, like that point where it clicks and pops. That's when the new ego. When you take a breath in, it's the new ego is going to embody the body. Does it make
Okay.
sense? And the old character is now on the outside. It sheds downwards. It melts away, and you become the new ego. It's
Okay.
rebirth, reincarnation. You become a new avatar.
Okay.
I hope
Uh,
that makes sense.
my head is spinning.
Yeah, it's a
I
lot
need
to
to.
take. Yeah, yeah.
This is.
But the more you do it,
I,
so for now, the more you do it, like you acknowledge that the body is material.
yeah.
Ego or monkey mind is always all over the shop. But there is a
Okay.
constant. That constant is awareness. Just keep on playing that. Just keep watching that. Just keep watching it, watching it. What I've been describing to you here is still down the line. But it's a
Okay.
tangible method what I'm describing. And it's
Okay.
attainable by everyone, man.
Okay.
But it's easier done now than later. I promise you that, man.
Yeah.
It's hard to do it when you're like, wow, seriously, it's hard for some people. Let's be honest, for some people it's too late, man. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
When I say too late, I mean late while they're still alive. Was I know of people who, just as they die, they kind of reach 0 point. Those are like kind of lucky ones, or maybe they just had to live their whole life that way for them to reach 0 point that way. When we say 0 point, it's like that point where you are non-dualistic, and you realize that actually, wow, you're connected with everything, and they die a really peaceful death.
Yeah. Yeah. I want that now, man. I want to start working towards that now.
Yeah, to live a peaceful, yeah, contentful life. Yeah, then if that's what you want, then that's what's gonna happen. Because
It's
when we
balance.
give matter to something, it happens, man.
It's balance, man. Because I've been unhappy for so many years, struggling with so many things for so long. Like, this is the balance that I'm trying to get back in my life. Have years going in the other direction, and then this
Yeah,
is the
yeah,
one I was.
yeah. Well, but you're still young, innit? You still got like some time. But you're looking good, man. You're
Thanks, man.
inspiration. So it's
Thanks
just
so much.
that's it. And
Thank
it's
you.
and it's beautiful. Like the more we share these kind of perspective, I guess we share this kind of like awareness, this perspective of this awareness.
Yeah.
It starts reverberating outwards, isn't it? Synchronicity and
Yeah.
and synergy. That's just synergistically. That's what happens. It's amazing, man. But Aldo, I'm gonna leave it here.
Okay, man.
Um, Please continue sending me your pictures and stuff, man. Like they're amazing.
I will. Well, I mean, I would send you more, but I don't want to like stress you out. So many pictures, and
Yeah, man. And
but I don't feel that you ever have to reply. I'll just send you pictures, man. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
definitely. But and also,
Okay.
if you have any epiphanies or anything like that, there's another thing that I found really useful. Sorry. So for myself, sometimes after meditation, maybe straight after, or maybe like an hour, or maybe a day after,
Yeah.
I'll have a, it's almost like when you watch a film, and when you leave the film with a thought of some
Oh yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like
yeah,
something, like some kind of flavor.
yeah.
Maybe write it down. Maybe do a little
Okay.
video and then send it to me. Like you realize something. Which when you said to me, oh, it crystallized for you that the body is now and the
Yeah,
ego is. That
yeah,
day was a moment of epiphany.
yeah.
That's, for us, we call those jewels or relics.
Okay.
Well, you only could you only it only that only crystalline for you, or that jewel only appeared when you practiced. Remember, you
Yeah.
said in the last 2 weeks that's when it crystallined. For us, those are relics. So when you write down, you leave those there. It gives hope for other ones on the similar path. Does
Okay.
it make sense what I'm saying? Those are the
Yeah.
stuff that we leave behind for others, just to give them hope that whatever path they're on, just continue, and you will find this relic. Does it make sense? They're like landmarks. They're like little breadcrumbs, not breadcrumbs. They're like landmarks on the landscape for people. And then the
It
next,
does.
the
That,
more you
that now I'm beginning,
practice, yeah,
well, I'm beginning to realize that when I started this 2 weeks ago, it was all about me. But now I'm realizing it's not. It's actually about others as well.
yeah,
You know?
exactly. The reason why I do this is actually not just for me. I know because I know I'm connected with everything else. I'm doing it for everyone.
Yeah.
So I don't need to
No,
preach. You understand? You
we
just
all,
do it. Yeah, just do it.
everyone that watches you knows that you're doing it for us, man. You know?
Just yeah. Okay, Aldo. Until the next time, yeah. Or maybe
Okay, man. I'll be in touch.
take care, bro. Nice one.